at an experimental military base in South Korea. An American soldier poured a bottle of chemical agents into a sewer drain leading to the Han River. The assistant tried to intervene but faced dissatisfaction. Under pressure, the assistant complied. 8 years later, a tourist discovered a large creature under a Han River bridge. A large crowd gathered, which inadvertently startled the monster. He plunged into the water, swimming slowly towards the shore. People threw food, but the creature showed no interest and vanished. Golden Hair, feeling bored, was about to leave when he witnessed a scene that would haunt him for life. The monster charged towards them at incredible speed. The crowd fled in terror, but the monster reached them almost instantly. In the chaos, a girl wearing headphones and lost in music had her hair grabbed by the monster and was dragged across the ground. The monster rampaged through the park, preying on tourists. To evade, people scrambled into a nearby shipping container, thinking they were safe until the monster burst through the steel door in an instant, turning the container into a living hell of screams and cries. In this critical moment, a soldier passed by. He and Golden Hair opened the steel door and the monster burst out. It immediately set its sights on a 300-plus-pound young man. The soldier instinctively picked up a paving stone and threw it at the monster, but the attack was futile. Seeing this, Golden Hair grabbed the road sign beside him. They struck the monster's head with it. This action enraged the monster. It turned towards the two of them. Golden Hair swiftly dove under a car, but the soldier was caught off guard and tackled to the ground by the monster. As the soldier was about to be devoured, Golden Hair raised the road sign once more. Monstrous blood splattered across Golden Hair's face. He feared for his life and immediately turned and fled. At that very moment, Golden Hair's daughter stepped out of the house. Before she could react, Golden Hair grabbed her from behind and pulled her away. But just after running a short distance, Golden Hair slipped and fell to the ground. He scrambled up without delay, gripping his daughter's hand, and they continued their escape. When he looked back, he realized with horror that he had mistakenly grabbed someone else. By now, his real daughter had become the monster's target. Watching in anguish as his daughter was gradually dragged away by the monster, Golden Hair let out a roar and leapt into the water. Unfortunately, it was already too late. Under his watchful yet despairing gaze, the monster submerged into the water. Swiftly, the police surrounded the area. Survivors were sheltered at a gymnasium. Golden Hair's brother and sister received the news and rushed over. The family stared at Nisa's photo, overwhelmed with sorrow. The brother relentlessly blamed Golden Hair for not keeping a close eye on their daughter, leading to physical altercation. A police officer in protective gear entered. They sprayed disinfectant, asked about contact with monster. Golden Hair naively admitted. Officer tensed up. Golden Hair and family were taken away by quarantine personnel. It turned out that moments ago, the military discovered festering on some close contacts. Analysis showed monster likely carried a non-virus. To prevent the spread of this virus, the military initiated decontamination of Han River region. Golden Hair and family were taken to quarantine center for observation. Late at night, Golden Hair felt hungry. Phone rang. Golden Hair recognized his daughter's voice. Before he could ask about her condition, the call ended. Nevertheless, this brief call rekindled the family's hope. They informed the police that their daughter was alive and asked for help, but the authorities doubted Golden Hair's sanity. Having no choice, they planned to sneak out. Unfortunately, Golden Hair's distinct hair was noticed by a nurse, making escape harder. Eventually, they fled the facility. Fortunately, Golden Hair's father had contacted a local gang. With their help, the four escaped the quarantine station. He traded all his savings for an old sanitizing truck, 3 shotguns, and a map of the Han River sewer systems. Posing as a sanitizing team, they deceived the riverbank guards. On the other side, the monster reappeared at the river's edge. The quarantine personnel became its meal. Soon, it returned to its lair in the sewer by the Han River. After depositing its prey, it left. As soon as it departed, a girl emerged from a nearby pipe. Black Hair, Golden Hair's daughter. Black Hair survived being taken by the monster and retrieved a cell phone from a victim. However, it was soaked by rain and useless. Despairing, she only clung to hope for a miraculous turn of events. Meanwhile, Golden Hair's group entered the Han River area and searched the sewage system for black hair. After hours with no clues, they decided to go home to eat before continuing. At that moment, Golden Hair noticed the monster outside through a door crack. The father grabbed the shotgun, enraging the monster, which charged towards their hiding room. In time, the father fired again, hitting the monster's head. Seeing it motionless, they cautiously stepped out. The monster lay gasping. Upon seeing this, Golden Hair's brother took another shot. Unexpectedly, the monster sprang up and darted towards the riverbank. Golden Hair and his companions pursued, but the monster's agility made it evade them as they ran out of ammunition. The military arrived due to the gunfire. To avoid capture, they had to retreat, but the catfish monster swam towards them. At a critical moment, Golden Hair said he had one last bullet. The father took the gun, motioned for others to leave first, and prepared for a final showdown. However, there were no bullets in the gun, as Golden Hair had misremembered. This put Dad in a bad spot. He waved for them to escape while he was knocked down by the catfish monster. Witnessing this, Golden Hair collapsed. Satisfied with the scene, the monster leapt into the lake. The military arrived and Golden Hair was captured. Meanwhile, his brother, who had fled, sought help from a friend at a telecommunications company to rescue his niece. They quickly traced the location, but just as they were about to act, the friend left. Unaware of the betrayal, the brother jotted down the location. When he tried to leave, he found people had stormed into the room. News of their family's escape from the quarantine facility made headlines, leading to a nationwide manhunt and substantial reward. Lured by the bounty, the friend had betrayed him. Facing encirclement, the brother short-circuited wiring with a paperclip and slipped away in the dark. Outside, the police had a blockade. Panicked, he jumped under the bridge and shook off pursuit. Exhausted, he sent Black Hair's location to Archer before losing consciousness. Archer headed to the sewer on receiving the message and informed Golden Hair. The monster suddenly charged towards her. Golden Hair readied his bow for a shot, but couldn't confront the massive creature alone. She was knocked into a narrow crevice between rocks. Fortunately, the entrance was too small for the monster to reach her. After futile attempts, it left. During this time, Golden Hair learned his daughter's whereabouts from Archer. He frantically explained to the doctors and begged to go. The doctors thought his brain was infected and took samples for research. Unexpectedly, Golden Hair survived due to his faith in finding daughter. Determined to save her, he snatched a virus sample and took a nurse hostage, escaping the military base. On the other side, the hunter returned to its lair and left after placing the unfinished meal. Black Hair noticed the little boy was alive. As she approached, the monster returned. She hugged the boy and lay still, deceiving the monster. Realizing they couldn't be passive and they would eventually be found, they made an escape rope from victims' clothes during the monster's hunting. Black Hair threw the rope onto the iron grate. It successfully hooked onto the fence, but it was short. As the monster returned, Black Hair threw an aluminum can at it, but it didn't wake. So Black Hair took a running start, using the monster's body to reach the rope, but its tail wrapped around her. Instead of eating her, it put her back on the ground. The boy was terrified and the monster stared at them. When Golden Hair arrived, he found only bones in the sewer. Then the monster passed overhead with his daughter in its mouth. Meanwhile, the US military decided to use a disinfectant gas bomb called the Yellow Cannon over the Han River region to eliminate the creature and all life within a 1,000-kilometer radius. Hearing this news, crowds gathered to protest but attracted the monster. Upon seeing the bustling crowd across the river, it leapt into the water and Golden Hair pursued. The crowd fled when they saw the monster. A soldier fired wildly. Fearing for his daughter's safety, Golden Hair jumped into the river, but the monster focused on the crowd. As the moment came, the military released the yellow cannon, unleashing toxic gas. Spectators who couldn't evacuate were poisoned. The monster writhed in pain, and the soldier delivered the final shots. Enraged, Golden Hae tackled the soldier and pulled his daughter and the boy from the monster's jaws. Sadly, his daughter was lifeless, killed not by the monster, but by gunshot wounds. His brother and sister arrived, utterly devastated upon seeing the niece's body. Unexpectedly, the monster regained its footing. Driven by anger, Golden Hae grabbed a road sign and broke it. Quickly, his younger brother joined the fight with a Molotov cocktail, madly hurling one after another at the monster. However, he couldn't hit the monster due to optic nerve paralysis. Then a man in black appeared and doused the monster with gasoline. Seeing this, the younger brother readied his last Molotov cocktail. However, failed again. In despair, Archer ignited an arrow and aimed at the monster's eye. She hit accurately, and the monster burst into flames and headed towards the riverbank in agony. But Golden Hae stepped in front and thrust a steel rod into its mouth. With a howl, the monster lost resistance and crashed. After the battle, Golden Hae approached the boy who was still breathing faintly. In the end, he decided to adopt the boy his daughter had saved. The two returned to their riverside cottage. A few days later, the U.S. military admitted at a press conference that no virus had leaked in this incident. And thus, the matter ended abruptly with their apology. Unfortunately, the innocent civilians who died in this tragedy bore the pain alone. Well, that's all for today. If you like my videos, please give a like and subscribe for me. I will see you in the next video. Wishing you the light every day and every night.